Dems just hit with their worst nightmare after attack on Kavanaugh goes horribly wrong. The Democrats plan to stick it to President Trump and stop the nomination of Judge Brett Kavanaugh to the Supreme Court as backfiring big time on them. The polls have suddenly turned against them, and Americans, in general, have had it with this nonsense. It's the left's worst nightmare come true, and I'm feeling fine over it. A new look at the Fox News battleground polls that were released yesterday suggests the 2018 midterms might be trending in the Republicans' favor, at least in the Senate, where the 35 seats up for election largely are in GOP-leaning states. The left's attack has gone horribly wrong for them. There is a noticeable uptick in Republican enthusiasm across the board in the past several weeks that tracks with the increasingly heated confrontation between both parties over Kavanaugh's confirmation and the sexual misconduct allegations leveled against him. The Senate is viewing the supplemental background investigation on those claims today. While Democrats have complained about that process, sources say the review did not corroborate the allegations. A confirmation vote is expected as early as this weekend. Kavanaugh will almost certainly be confirmed. The Democrats have no one to blame but themselves if this destroys them in the midterms. If you play sleazy, dirty politics, expect a blowback, and sometimes, you get nuked for it. What the Democrats forgot is that Republicans know that the left hates them more than they do Trump. And in an unexpected consequence of the attack on Kavanaugh, the left accidentally united the right once again. We know that deep down, the hatred from the left isn't just about Trump. It's about a raw, vicious desire for power at any cost. And proving that hell has probably frozen over solid. The Wall Street Journal is now writing we're all deplorables now. Judge Kavanaugh would have been on any Republican's short list for the Supreme Court. Mr. Trump's nomination of Mr. Kavanaugh is a credit to the process he established to win the election and govern with conservative support. He sought the help of legal elites on the right, led by the Federalist Society, who compiled an impressive list of potential nominees. This isn't a rogue judicial operation to choose presidential cronies. It is the gold standard for legal talent that believes in the original meaning of the Constitution. It's hard to see how any GOP president would have done better, and others have done much worse. Yet this is precisely why Democrats and the left have set out to destroy Judge Kavanaugh not in legal philosophy or competence, which they knew was a political loser, but as a human being, a spouse and father. They need to destroy him personally with accusations but no corroboration, as they tried with Clarence Thomas, so they can deny the open Supreme Court seat to a judicial conservative. Republicans are well aware of Mr. Trump's excesses and falsehoods. But they have also come to understand that the resistance to him isn't rooted in principle or some august call to superior character. They know Democrats nominated Hillary Clinton in 2016 despite her history of deceit. Voters know this is about the left's will to power by any means necessary. Republicans across America can see, and certainly their senators voting on Judge Kavanaugh should realize, that the left hates them as much or more than they loathe Mr. Trump. Conservatives understand that, for the American left, they are all deplorables now. The GOP could strengthen its hand further, especially with independents be keeping the focus on how Democrats created this mess. 69% of all voters, not just Republicans, believe the Senate confirmation hearings have been a national disgrace. 75% of voters agree Senator Dianne Feinstein should have immediately turned over the letter from Christine Blasey Ford rather than sit on it for 6 weeks until it was leaked in the media. Note to California Republicans left without a Senate candidate by the state's open primary vote for Mrs. Feinstein's Democratic opponent, Kevin De Leon. The better his showing in California's red precincts, the bigger the rebuke to Mrs. Feinstein. How will this ugly confirmation fight affect the midterms? In crucial Senate races in red states like Indiana, Missouri, Montana, North Dakota, Tennessee and West Virginia, it will hurt Democrats. There are simply a lot more Republicans than Democrats in these states, and Republicans support Judge Kavanaugh. That's why North Dakota's Sen. Heidi Heitkamp, West Virginia's Senator Joe Manchin, and Tennessee hopeful Phil Bredesen, all Democrats, have yet to join their party's mob trying to destroy the nominee. 2 other red state Democratic senators, Missouri's Claire McCaskill, and Montana's John Tester, oppose the judge but offered reasons other than Ms. Ford's accusations. Indiana's Joe Donnelly may find himself in a pickle. He came out against Judge Kavanaugh over Ms. Ford's claim and said it should be investigated by the FBI. But if the FBI cannot corroborate the accusations, Mr. Donnelly can be hammered for rushing to judgment on Mr. Kavanaugh without waiting for the evidence he asked for. In purple states such as Arizona, Florida, and Nevada, this issue will cut more evenly between the parties. GOP candidates there must emphasize that the hearings were a mess that could have been avoided if Mrs. Feinstein turned over Ms. Ford's letter promptly. That way her privacy could have been protected and the charges examined in the FBI's normal process. Remember when Hillary Clinton infamously referred to Trump supporters as a basket of deplorables during the 2016 election? I think we all pretty much do. It looks like the left has done what Republicans could not do for themselves after the rift over President Trump. They have unified the party once more. We should thank them for their mud-raking, sleazy, dirty, unfounded attacks on Kavanaugh. It finally woke the Republicans up. I heard Nancy Pelosi this morning comparing Kavanaugh to Putin and Kim Jong-un. This sickness is endemic with the Democrats. And it will destroy them. Such vitriol and sheer hatred almost always wind up destroying the host eventually. And the Dems have earned every bit of it and more. The harsh and unfair treatment of Judge Brett Kavanaugh is having an incredible upward impact on voters. The people get it far better than the politicians. Most importantly, this great life cannot be ruined by mean, despicable Democrats and totally uncorroborated allegations.